Yesterday, Anthropic released Claude Fable 5, and in this video, I'm going to be showing you what I built with it and why I think that Fable 5 makes new things possible and why this model is a massive leap in AI capabilities. Yesterday, I spent over 700 million tokens inside of Cursor while blowing through my 3 Claude Code Max subscriptions. Before I get too deep into this review, I do want to show you one output that we got yesterday while live on stream that really puts Fable 5 in a league of its own. Check this out. So this is Bridge Horror House. This is a horror game that we built with Claude Fable 5. So pretty much you go around and you find these keys. Okay, so we're going around. Here's a key. I'm going to pick up this key. So I need to find these keys. And I want you to look at the graphics, okay? Look, I can open the doors. This is literally, look at this. I can pick up batteries for my flashlight. And I'm going to go over to this room. I actually played this yesterday quite a bit. Look, here's a key right here. So, well, what was that? Did you guys see that? I'm going to pick up this key. Okay. Let's look at this. So now I can pick this up and I can read it. It says he cannot stand the light. Hold your beam on him. Hold it. Do not blink. And he comes apart like smoke. But the light eats batteries and taking what is his only makes him angrier. Press E to put down. So look, there's that ghost. So basically I have to look at the ghost. And if I don't look at it with my flashlight, then I'm going to die. But I now have 2 of the brass keys. I'm going to go find the 3rd one. And I just want you guys to look at all of the graphics. You guys can let me know what you think in the comment section down below. But we have never seen anything get output like this in regards to a game. So here's the final key. I'm going to pick this up. And let's go see if we can get out. So here's the ghost. Where is it? So there's the ghost right there. It's coming at me. I have to look at it. Okay, boom. I game it. So now I have to get out. Now I have to get out of the house. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to unlock the front door. And I escaped. Okay. So that is a horror game that was one shot, okay? That was one shot using Fable 5. And I have never seen AI be able to create a game like this. Fable 5 is expensive. It's $10 per million on the input and $50 per million on the output, making it twice the cost of Opus 4.8. But remember, this was rumored to be $25 per million on the input and $125 per million on the output. So I was actually pleasantly surprised with the price. I did hit my usage limits on my $200 a month Claude Max subscription in less than 30 minutes using Fable 5. And this X post literally has 735,000 views. So a lot of people are experiencing this, but I'm going to give you a few tips so that your Claude Fable 5 usage limits last longer. To make your usage limits go further, please, please, please put your effort level in extra high or high. Do not use max. Max is overkill. It's going to take way longer than you need it to take, and it's going to use way more usage than you need it to take. Also, you should not be using subagents when you're launching Fable 5. Just have it work with a single agent. Do not ask it to run subagents because it will obliterate your usage. When it comes to benchmarks, Fable 5 is a huge gap up. So if you look at this here on SWE-Bench Pro, Opus 4.8 scored 69.2, Fable scored 80.3. That is a massive jump. And then in Frontier Code, look at this. Opus 4.8 scored 13.4. Fable scored 29.3. So this is the largest jump in terms of the SWE-Bench Pro benchmark that we've ever seen. And on artificial analysis, look at this. We also now have Claude models surpassing GPT models in coding capabilities. Look at this. Opus 4.8 was at 56.7. Now Fable 5, 62. It destroys GPT 5.5. In intelligence, same thing. Look at this. GPT 5.5 extra high. It's 60.2. Claude Fable 5, almost a 5-point difference. Because of this disparity, I have decided to cancel my $200 a month ChatGPT Pro plan. There's no point in even using OpenAI models at this point. I think Claude Fable is so much better that I won't even touch a GPT model. With the money that I'm saving from canceling this subscription, I'm going to be giving one of you a free month of Claude Max, the $200 plan. So make sure that you like this video, subscribe and turn on post notifications, and join the BridgeMind Discord community, the home of the vibe coding movement, and then comment down below that you've done so. And I'm going to select one of you guys to win $200 towards a Claude Max subscription. Another benchmark, which is definitely worth looking at, is CursorBench. So if you go down, you're going to see that Fable 5 destroys the frontier, okay? It scores 72.9% compared with Opus 4.7 Max, which scored 64.8%, and GPT 5.5, which scored 64.3%. And what I want you guys to look at is just that jump. Okay, this is a leap in capability. This is not, oh, it got a little bit better. No, this is, okay, this is obviously outperforming anything else. I now want to show you guys what it is that I built yesterday using Fable 5, and we're then going to give a couple prompts to Fable 5 to continue the development of BridgeAgent. So this is BridgeAgent, okay? This is a competitor to Hermes Agent, but rather than being a general purpose agent, this is a highly specialized agent for software development. The goal of BridgeAgent is to create an agent that is able to build software autonomously. I used Fable 5 to build out the complete MVP, and I just want to show you guys a little bit about what it created. So there's a new concept of responsibilities. So you can have AI create the responsibilities for you. You can also select from a library. So one example would be DDoS protection. So this is how it works. So this is a responsibility. You can assign this responsibility, but in order to do so, you can see that I have to click connect. And when I click connect, you're going to see that this is the integrations that BridgeAgent has. So you integrate it with GitHub, you integrate it with Sentry or Cloudflare or AWS. And once you integrate those things, your agent becomes a recursive, self-improving agent that works as a software developer for you. And Fable 5 was able to build this for us. One thing that I've noticed with Fable 5 is its ability to just one-shot pretty much any feature that you ask it to build. So if you guys look at this, one feature that I built last night is this one over here, just a transcription feature. Watch this. Let's record. There, BridgeAgent, how are you doing today? Works perfectly, okay? And that really is the key there, is that I didn't have to two-shot this. I didn't have to three-shot this. This was a complete one-shot. And that's what I'm seeing with Claude Fable 5, is that this is able to pretty much one-shot any backend feature. Now, one thing that I do want to draw your attention to is that I don't see massive improvements in the design capabilities of Fable 5. I think that a lot of the improvements that I'm seeing are its backend capabilities. So you guys know that GPT 5.5 is good at backend, and people would say, oh, Claude isn't that good at backend. That is no longer the case. And I do think that while there is improvements in some aspects of the front end design, I think that with Claude Fable 5, it did create this UI. So you guys can let me know what you think. You guys can go check this out at bridgeagent.app. But this is the website that it created for BridgeAgent. We're currently taking people that want to get free access and get on the wait list so that we can get this tested. But you guys can see that it is pretty much kind of like the Apple website. If you go to request access, this is what it looks like. It set up a Cloudflare turnstile token for us. It set up everything correctly, but I do think that the design is still a little bit, not necessarily AI slop, but it definitely is not this incredibly unique design. So I don't think that we're there yet. There's this really cool visual representation that you can get of BridgeAgent. We built this using Fable 5, but what I want to do next is I actually want to put Fable 5 through my vibe coding workflow so that you guys can see how I'm using it. I need you to do a complete in-depth review of BridgeAgent and of BridgeAgent Desktop, and I need you to create a new project in the root BridgeAgent directory that is called BridgeAgent Docs. This should be a Fuma Docs project that is incredibly well designed, is dark themed and light themed, and make it recap and summarize all of the documentation that is needed for BridgeAgent. So I'm going to submit that there. And basically what I'm seeing with Fable 5 is that you give it a task and it's able to complete it. Now, this is slower than Opus 4.8 is. I am putting it in max effort right now. I know I advised you guys against this, but remember, I have 3 Claude Max subscriptions, so I can rip through my usage much more than an average person would be able to. Also, one thing before I give the next prompt, note this. Fable 5 is here, our newest model for complex long-running work, included in your plan limits until June 22nd. Then switch to usage limits to continue. So this has actually caused quite a bit of outrage. People are not happy that pretty much they're going to give us Fable 5, and then on June 21st, that's going to be the last day that we have access to Fable 5 inside of our Claude subscription. Now, here's what I'll say. First of all, let's lock in and let's work as hard as we can while we still have the model. But then I'll show you in a second what they said in one of their blog posts, because it looks like we're probably going to get it back in the plan once they get the compute, but I'll show that to you guys a little bit later. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to add BridgeVoice, and I'm just going to say, I need you to do an in-depth review of the push-to-talk functionality for BridgeVoice, and sometimes I get a bug where even though I lift up my finger from pressing the push-to-talk key, it does not stop recording immediately. Review the functionality associated with this and perfect it to make sure that it is instant. Okay, so I'm going to submit that. Sometimes I get this weird bug with BridgeVoice, and what I find is that any bug that I have, if I give it to Fable 5, I actually had a very difficult bug yesterday with BridgeVoice, and I'll even show it to you guys right now. Do you guys see the BridgeVoice widget pill here? Do you guys see this? Watch this. So I'm just going to press it, and do you guys see this here, how it says too short, nothing transcribed? This is something I've literally been trying to get working for so long. If you look at this screenshot, this is what it looked like before when I had an error in BridgeVoice. You can see that it's basically cut off, it's terribly styled, and this is a bug that I've had for the past 2 months in BridgeVoice that, trust me, I've given it to GPT 5.5 extra high. I've given it to Claude Opus 4.7 max. I've given it to Claude Opus 4.8 max. But finally, there's a model that actually designs this where if I'll do it again. Look at this. I'll produce it again. Look at this. Too short, nothing transcribed. Finally, it fixed the bug with the design, and just so you know, it did it in one shot. I need you to review all of the integrations with BridgeAgent, and note that we need respective skills for each integration because BridgeAgent is an autonomous software developing agent that needs to be able to integrate really well with each of those integrations. So do a complete review and improve our skills and improve the agent's abilities to create software autonomously. So I can literally give it this prompt, right? And what I find, like I said, is that Fable 5 is so intelligent. With broader prompts, it's able to get things done. So I now have these 3 agents running. You guys can see that this agent is actually coding now, but this agent here, I'm having it do a security audit. It's 5 minutes in. And what I don't like is that it actually launched, I think it launched 5 sub-agents. Yeah, look at this. It launched 5 Explore agents. And this is a problem now because with Fable 5, it's so expensive that this is gonna, like I said, it's gonna obliterate your usage. So let's do a quick usage check and just know I'm at 10% used, okay? But think about this. If I now run these 5 agents and they work, let's say for the next 10 to 15 to 20 minutes, okay? That usage is probably going to be like 30%. And it's not because, oh, Fable 5 is just this incredibly expensive model. If you give it one prompt, it's going to obliterate your $200 max plan. It's more, hey, I would honestly recommend prompting to not launch sub-agents because at this point, this is just overkill. While my Fable 5 agents are working, I do want to draw your guys' attention to the official blog article that explains the usage limits and explains what's going to happen. So it says from today through June 22nd, Fable 5 is included on Pro, Max, Team, and Seat-based enterprise plans at no extra cost. And then on June 23rd, they're going to remove Fable 5 from those plans. So after that, it's going to cost usage credits. So you're basically going to spend API pricing, which is going to make it incredibly expensive. But look at this here. After this point, when sufficient capacity allows us to do so, we aim to restore Fable 5 as a standard part of subscription plans. We intend to do this as quickly as we can. So while everybody is upset about the fact that they're giving us a model and then taking it away, I do think that they'll add it back relatively quickly, and hopefully they can get so much influx of demand that they're going to be able to find that compute. This Fable 5 agent that was working on that BridgeVoice bug is now complete. If you scroll up here, you can literally see it just went into the diagnostics TXT and it found the bug and it just fixed the bug. And this is what I'm seeing from Fable 5. You give it a task, it's going to be able to complete it with incredible accuracy. Now, this one here, we saw the same issue on this one. If you look at this, what you're going to see is that this launched sub-agents, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that it's launching sub-agents, so just make sure that you prompt Claude Code to not launch sub-agents because, hey, if I look at my usage limits now, look at this. Let's see, 31% used, right? So that's a lot of usage for only running 4 agents. Now, if I prompted it to not launch sub agents, that would be a lot less. But you can see that, yeah, Fable 5 is going to eat your usage limits. It is 2 times the cost. But if you do have multiple Claude Max subscriptions, you're going to be okay. I think that for me, having 3 of them, I probably do have unlimited Fable use if I don't launch a bunch of sub agents. Now for the big question, does Fable 5 get the BridgeMind stamp of approval? And I already think you guys know the answer to this. 100%, 10 out of 10. This is the best model I've ever used in my life. This makes new things possible. This is the model that I've been waiting for, because it's not about just getting a step in improvement. It's about getting a model that literally makes what was previously impossible now possible. And that's what I'm seeing with Fable 5. And guys, we have to lock in because it's only here until June 22nd. So for the next 2 weeks, we have to lock in. We have to use it while it's included in our Claude subscriptions, because yes, it is expensive, but guys, let's lock in and let's make the most of it. I'm going to be live today for day 191 of Vibe Coding an App until I make $1 million. And the only model I'm going to be using is Fable 5. I give it a task, it gets it done. But with that being said, I do have a like goal of 500 likes on this video. So if you haven't already liked, subscribed, and joined the BridgeMind Discord community, the home of the Vibe Coding movement, make sure you do so. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the future.